ideals, and tenets of the Universal Church of the Masters. Now, I will ask that each of you give your affirmation when I read the vow. Will you constantly strive to improve your knowledge, your skills, and your spiritual relationship to God and grow in spirit and wisdom as you evolve towards oneness with your Creator?
I do.
Will you conduct yourself in such a manner as to benefit the Universal Church of the Masters, your community, and your ministry?
I will.
Do you promise not to engage in any activity that constitutes the illegal practice of medicine or psychology, or knowingly mislead or misrepresent yourself of word, deed, or implication to be other than what you legally are?
I do.
And do you promise to have fun?
Yes.
Do you promise to remember this moment as something so tremendously special that allows you to follow your passion and your heart?
We do.
Do you promise to accept the guidance of your community, to accept our help, to ask for it when needed, and to know that you always have someone to talk to and someone to support you?
Yes, thank you. I do.
And do you promise to hold your church, your reverends, and myself accountable, and that you will speak up if you see something that you feel is not right, and that you will hold your truth even in the face of opposition?
I will do.
I ask the reverends to hold their hands forward and allow Creator to flow blessings through you and into these two women who are now making a promise to step forward, to serve Creator in whatever way they feel called, to be in alignment with Creator's wishes, to surrender and embrace the will of Creator, and to allow God to become their best friend. By the power invested in me by the Universal Church of the Masters, I hereby declare Tamara Bell and Marge Powers licentiates of the Universal Church of the Master. Please bestow the stoles.
Ahead of time.
Brothers and sisters of UCM, may I present for the first time on this planet licentiate Tamara Bell and licentiate Marge Powers. Alrighty, now we're gonna put you on a committee or something.
Now we can put you on a committee or something.
You're trapped.
Oh, hey, Tamara. Oh, hello.
Up.
You do get paperwork.
You're certifiable now.
So, each one will receive a certificate. There you go.
Thank you.
I went somewhere nice.
Thank you.
You keep it and don't turn it loose or nothing.
And this step brings you that much closer to your ordination as reverends. And we look forward to that day. So, there are people that, I definitely want to take a moment and just express my huge gratitude for all the work that they put in for this conference and for this weekend and to put it together. And
First, I wish to thank our conference chair, Corey Gott, Reverend Corey Gott. I don't see her here.
I'm kind of in her place, I'm
You're-
so sorry, she has a very bad headache.
Oh, I'm sorry. And she just did an amazing job. And in fact, it was her idea to move the business meeting to to Friday, so that way Saturday could be a play day. She brought that up at a meeting, and we all just thought it was an excellent idea. And she was also in charge of all the cooking, and I think that we all enjoyed the food. Oh, well, apparently we'll be getting some later, so awesome. Hey, leftovers rock. I also want to thank the setup chair, Reverend Jim Marty Pettix, who did an awesome job of playing Tetris and getting all the tables in and making sure that everything ran smoothly, and for his awesome story. I really loved it.
Yeah.
And that thing could be a sermon. I definitely look forward to that being a sermon. And I want to thank Reverend Chris Miller, who assisted with the 50-50 raffle and stepped in and assisted with that. And Reverend Lynn Rogers, who is in charge of the healers and readers, and she'll be up in just a few moments before we finish the service. She will come up and give the information for how that's going to work. I want to thank Reverends Jan Ewers and Reverend Ann Corbin, who did an amazing job of doing the unattractive to the rest of us, of handling the money and the administration and registration and we could not, and the silent auction, which is normally a nightmare, and yet they performed it beautifully and seamlessly and had it all done while we were doing the talks, which was awesome. And I'd like to thank our MC for the evening, Reverend Mike Densmore. For those of you who were there for the talent show last night, it was just so much fun. And for those of you who weren't, well, brush up on your singing next year, because we're doing it again. I want to thank our keynote speaker, Reverend Eve Wilson, for just her amazing energy, and for the person who manned her the book table, her husband Dave, who I heard the first night you had people stomping in the hotel room above you. So thank you so much for even showing up that next day. And it's just so wonderful.
What about Ronnie doing all the
It
cooking?
was, well, yeah, Ronnie was cooking and he was singing. Everybody, it's, because there were so many extra people who helped and did stuff and just worked. And even those who just came a distance and were able to share the day with us and share their hearts and their stories. I was asked, what is my vision for the next 5 years? I want to know what yours is. I want to know what you would like to see from this church. What is your wish list? And so I asked that everybody fill out a survey and definitely put down anything that you would like to see for next year's conference, anything you would like to see within the church over the next year. And we'll see how much we can be able to get done, but the only way we're going to do it is together. And that makes me so happy because I know with this group together there's nothing we can't do.
And
So
I would just like to thank, it was wonderful being able to work with my beloved friend, Reverend Sheila.
Yes.
So, thank you.
yes, the speakers, those who were speakers for the event, Reverend Mary Gary, Reverend Janet Childs, Reverend Sheila, Reverend Lynn who assisted. So, they say many hands make light work, and it was a big thing for us to do, and we got it done, and thank you so much. And let me just double check this. And we ended up awarding, we had a certificate of appreciation for Mary Gary, and she wasn't going to be here, so we actually awarded it last night. So, if you weren't there, watch the video.
Yes.
So, the next song that the choir is going to sing is a very special song. It is a song that Reverend Annie brought to us, and it deals with, well, tell you what, why don't you come up and say what it deals with?
So this is a song that I found, actually, a friend of mine had it on her Facebook page, and it's called A New Year. It's a Rosh Hashanah song. And so I brought it in for Rosh Hashanah one year because I speak often at Rosh Hashanah time. And it's just an amazing song. And with so many new beginnings happening right now, our new licentiates, our new president, new energies, new flows, new worlds opening up, we just thought it was a very appropriate song for today.
And as we sing the song, just listen to the words, because the idea of, let's go ahead and make this a new year, let's make this a new time, a new day, the stuff that didn't work, let it go. Thank it for what it taught you, and just set it aside and be willing. It's like, well, it may not have all been smooth and it may not have all been pretty, but we made it. And now we turn our faces to the sun of a rising new day for this church, for each one of us, for our licentiates, and for us as spiritual beings. Because the world is gonna be okay, we're gonna be okay. And it's a new year.
And I would
Choir,
just like
please
to
come
give
forward.
a huge applause for our wonderful Reverend Dr. Eileen.
Still working on earning that rose.
You earned it.
You've earned it.
You've earned
You
it.
have earned it.
May this be a year of love and kindness.
May strangers come to be friends.
May truth and compassion
a new 100 years. And in many native traditions and indigenous traditions, every action you take, every word you speak is something that is considered as an effect on the next 7 generations. Can we consider how we walk in this world, knowing that generations ahead will be affected by it? Sometimes it's hard. Sometimes it's really hard. Sometimes we're scared. Sometimes we're hurt. Sometimes we're angry. And my feeling is that God grades on a curve. And when I'm scared and hurt and angry, I know that there's someone I can take it to who's gonna say, yeah, I get it. I know. It's hard. But do you trust me? Are you willing to take my hand and walk with me, knowing that even if you don't see me, that I'm there? Even if it feels like you're alone, I'm there. There is no step you take that I'm not with you. And like in the poem's Footsteps, when it gets too dark or too scary, that is when we're carried. That we can allow ourselves to feel when we're lifted up and held and cradled and told it's all right. I'll get you through it. Together, we got this. There's nothing we can't do. You are my favorite child, and you always will be. And each and every one of us is God's favorite child. Even when we're mad. Even when we say, this isn't fair. That's not right. Do you know what they did? And God says, yep. And why do you think I brought it to you? You asked me for patience. So I'm going to send everybody who can work your last nerve. You asked me to help you be forgiving. So I'm going to give you things you will have to forgive. You asked me for strength. So I am going to challenge you until you reach that point that you don't think you can take another step. And then you will take it. So everything you ask, I will give you. So be very clear on what you're asking for. But no matter what, it teaches us. When I was asked to step up as president, something that immediately came very clear and very powerfully for me, that I was told right in that moment, you need to be baptized. And so I asked President Licentiate and former President Mary Gary after the meeting to baptize me in the Universal Church of the Master according to the ceremony in the Minister's Guide. Because if I was going to step up and hold this energy, I had to make that commitment. I've made that commitment to Creator. I make that commitment to you. And I commit to do my best. I don't promise that I won't make mistakes, but I'll try not to make the same one too many times. And as I ask the licentiates, I ask each and every one of you to speak your truth to me, to hold me accountable. If I make a choice that you don't like, I will explain why. And I'm sure we can find some common ground. My dad always told me that agreement isn't about everybody being happy, it's about everybody being equally unhappy. He said that's how committees work.
That's true.
But there's just so much amazing stuff ahead of us. There is so much that we have available to us. There are so many resources we have. You know, if you added up all of the spiritual experience of everyone who is associated with the Universal Church of the Master, we have thousands of years of experience throughout the history of this church. And it's going to be amazing. And it's going to be a new year, a new century, a new moment. and we will move forward one moment at a time, one step at a time, and we will do it together with everybody's input, everybody's dream, everybody's ideas. And I look forward to them all. And now what we're gonna do is we're gonna do the collection. And, you know, we are so happy to be able to come here on the Sunday services as our tradition.
Oh, he has to leave.
Okay, hold on. Ronnie has to leave, so we are nothing if not flexible. So take the time to write your checks and put the stuff in, and you know, you can do all that. And frankly, I know that Reverend Dottie, it is her traditional place to ask a very special question.
Reverend Ronnie Grigsby, do you have a song for us today?
Thank you. And the children shall lead them.
The reason that I have to leave is because for some reason somebody wants me to go to work.
How dare they?
I know.
Generally.
Glad you got a picture.
This song before our last sentence. When you walk through the storm, hold your head up high, and don't be afraid of the dark. At the end of the storm, there's a golden sky and a sweet silver song of a lark. Walk on through the wind, walk on through the rain, though your dreams be tossed and blown. Walk on with hope in your heart, and you'll never walk alone. You'll never walk alone. Yeah.
Okay, that's just,
Thank you,
oh my
Ronnie.
gosh. It is always so cool when, you know, Ronnie comes up and shares his amazing gift. And it's not just the gift of his phenomenal ability to sing, it's the gift of his heart, it's the gift of his spirit, it is, you know, the gift of somebody who is willing to be in the background, just making sure everything happens and to take care of others. And that is a gift that is definitely worth cherishing. Alrighty, so now on to the collection.
On the back of your programs?
There is giving to the ministry, from which we receive our spiritual support and nurturing, is an affirmation of the consciousness of the truth that Spirit is the prospering power enriching every area of our lives.
That to me blesses me abundantly. All I give comes